So it basically seems that the Bad Batch series is a treasure trove of Dave Filoni's forgotten ideas and future ideas as well. They have both combined to create a very, very intense and electrifyingly creative story. Making something out of nothing is this series in particular, because I remember a lot of fans saying that I don't care about the Bad Batch and I don't want a Bad Batch series, more so a Darth Vader series or a Luke Skywalker series. Mostly people wanted for the animated show and Dave Filoni to focus on these other main characters rather than some characters that we seldomly knew but not really. Well, only Dave Filoni, I think, could pull it off, because The Bad Batch has been an amazing series so far, and we're waiting for much, much bigger things to come. One of those things, of course, as I've discussed, is the multiple bounty hunters that Lama Su keeps referring us to. Now we understand that Fennec Shan wasn't the only bounty hunter to be hired by the Kaminoans. Now we get to see that Cad Bane is involved in the midst as well. And if Cad Bane and Fennec Shan are involved, you guessed it, there is another bounty hunter out there, a young bounty hunter that has an affiliation with both of these people, and that is Boba Fett, the unfiltered original clone of Jango Fett. With the appearance of Cad Bane, Dave Filoni has basically said to us that there is no limits to what the Bad Batch can offer as it pertains to Clone Wars era. Now that Cad Bane is back, a character that we didn't really imagine coming back ever, now that he is back, who's to say that Boba Fett won't be as well? To put it in perspective for a second, Boba Fett was extremely involved with Cad Bane during his younger days, and more so now in his older years, as we see in The Mandalorian Season 2, Boba Fett is very much involved with a older Fennec Shand as well. This tells you, and this gives you an idea, that Boba Fett definitely met Fennec Shand way before the Mandalorian era, so this, of course, could give us an indication that the Bad Batch might be the breeding ground for all these relationships in the future that we see. The Book of Boba Fett is months away, but still, even then, we have to get to know both Fennec Shand and Boba Fett for that series to work. We have to know their relationship and what bonds them together. The Mandalorian did not really showcase that. It just showed that they collaborated together, but we really don't know any origins or history about these two, and this is the chance for the Bad Batch to really step in and show us exactly what we are missing as it pertains to this particular relationship. Now let me get back to Cad Bane just for a little bit again. So Cad Bane, we all know as this amazing bounty hunter that even dueled Obi-Wan with a lightsaber. Not only is he the fastest gun in the galaxy, he is also a pretty good swordsman, going toe-to-toe with Obi-Wan, one of the best ever to do it. But what I want to talk about today is a forgotten concept from the Clone Wars. In fact, during the time when Season 7 and 8 were planned, there was a deleted scene which didn't make it into the fold because the show was just cancelled when Disney bought the property. Subsequently, of course, we got Season 7 afterwards, and it finished off the Clone Wars era. But the fact that those deleted scenes were not recreated or made it into Season 7 gives us an opportunity to see some concepts or some ideas be brought back into the Bad Batch. This is what I mean by Dave Filoni's creativity. He's not letting anything go. He still holds those ideas near and dear to his heart, and that's why I think definitively Boba Fett, a young Boba Fett at that, will make an appearance in the Bad Batch as well. Perhaps even in fact going after Omega as well, but in a different way, showing Boba Fett, a young Boba Fett, in a different light before he went completely dark, as we see him in Return of the Jedi working for the likes of Jabba the Hutt, getting credits by all means necessary. So as we see in the ending of Episode 8, Hunter found himself in a duel with none other than Cad Bane, which again he proved to be the fastest gun in the galaxy, and I don't think it was even close. Yes, Hunter shot his shot, but it wasn't even close to hitting Cad Bane. So the comparison between the Boba Fett duel and Cad Bane in the deleted scene definitely has some comparisons there with between Hunter and Cad Bane as well. This duel was meant for Boba Fett, as we see in the unfinished episode of the Clone Wars. Hunter together with Omega were trying to leave the planet Baraka, but they were subsequently attacked by Crosshair, then escaped him only to be met by Cad Bane. As I said, if you compare both these episodes, you can see that the side-by-side comparison is very much similar. This included Cad Bane's final arc, seeing him as him passing the torch to Boba Fett as one of the galaxy's biggest bounty hunters to be seen. Since Cad Bane is not involved in the original trilogy and now The Mandalorian 2, we can assume that Cad Bane at some point will die in the Bad Batch. Furthermore, Cad Bane and Boba Fett's time together, the way it ended, would have been with an extremely similar gunslinger showdown as seen in this new episode of The Bad Batch. In that episode, we even see how Boba Fett got his dent on his helmet. It was shot by Cad Bane, which would have definitely explained the dent we see in this helmet. But even though we did not see that showdown in The Bad Batch yet, I definitely think there is still hope for Dave Filoni to not only include Boba Fett, but actually recreate that deleted scene once more, but exactly as it is, only including Omega. The only missing link here is Omega. Omega is now captured by Cad Bane. He is presumably returning her to the Kaminoans. But what if this actually happens? What if Boba Fett, knowing that there is a bounty out for Omega, wanting to steal the bounty from Cad Bane, and actually Boba Fett wanting to collect, realizes in the end that Omega is not only a Jango Fett clone, but he is returning this child to practically the betrayers of his father. As Boba Fett would see it, as a young child, his father was betrayed by the Kaminoans, who let the Jedi waltz in and attack his father, attack his home, the only place he lived happily with his father, which was, of course, the planet Kamino and their facilities. What if Boba Fett realizes all this and actually tries to save Omega? This would be very similar to what Boba Fett wanted to do in the unfinished episode. He wanted to save civilians from Cad Bane. In this particular duel, the only thing to replace is, of course, Omega, which could have a severe impact in the story. Not only will it be definitively canon as to Boba Fett's dent on his helmet, which was left there by Cad Bane's shot, but he would probably save Omega one way or another, and then by Hunter and the gang tracking them, they would find Boba Fett and Omega. Ultimately, Omega would convince Boba Fett that she wants to go with her true dad, which is, of course, the space dad meme in Hunter from Clone Force 99. Just imagine if that actually happens. If Boba Fett and Cad Bane finally duel. What if this is the end for Cad Bane? What if Boba Fett actually ends things once and for all, and this is why we don't see Cad Bane again during any other media, except for Clone Wars and now Bad Batch. This is, I think, the best way to actually recreate that deleted scene, which I think sits very near and dear to Dave Filoni's heart. He really wants to bring back that scene, and this is why he attempted to conceptually recreate it with Hunter and Cad Bane in this last episode. If he actually wanted to recreate that scene once more, I think this is the way to go. Cad Bane has Omega, Boba Fett realizes that Omega is a Jango Fett clone, saves her from Cad Bane, and actually does not deliver her to the Kaminoans, instead seeking salvation for her, which of course is Hunter and the gang. Boba Fett is in no way, shape, or form ready to raise a child by himself. He's actually a child himself, a very young Boba Fett after Order 66. There is no doubt in my mind that that scene would be a perfect summation of what the Clone Wars actually represented. It wasn't just about the Jedi, and it wasn't just about Palpatine and his machinations, but actually about bounty hunters, about criminals, about clones, about much, much more than just the Force. Dave Filoni has always tried to show Boba Fett's different side. As a young man and as a kid, he had that glimmer of hope in him. Somewhere along the line, he lost it completely. After The Bad Batch, presumably, and during the original trilogy, he practically became one of the worst people in the galaxy, a person that you didn't want to cross paths with. And now in The Mandalorian, in his older age, we see that he has basically reverted back to being not a hero, but an anti-hero of sorts. Not being completely evil, like other characters, but Boba Fett, we can see his humanity in him. He actually honored Din Djarin's commitment to saving Grogu, and actually thanked him for returning the armor to him. This means that the word is bond for Boba Fett still, and again, it would be a perfect tie-in for young Boba Fett to meet Fennec Shand as well, and them creating a relationship of their own, which we see fully blossomed in The Mandalorian Season 2, and now the Book of Boba Fett, which is coming Christmas 2021, presumably. All in all, I am all for the complete recreation of that deleted scene, the duel between Cad Bane and Boba Fett. Just replace Omega for him to save. What do you guys think? Talk to me down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below as well. Subscribe for dailies, and now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.